welcome back to Texas Homeschool Mama. It's Miss Rachel here with
Joaquin.
And what do we make today, Joaquin?
Muerto.
Pan de Muerto. What are we making pan de Muerto for? El Día
de los Muertos.
El Día de los Muertos. So it's at the end of October and the beginning of November.
Yeah.
Right? And we're gonna make a typical bread that they make to celebrate the return of the souls for those special days. So come make it with us. Let's go.
Look at this.
There it is. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you are going to combine the dried ingredients. So we are going to combine half a cup of sugar, 2 packets of active yeast, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of orange zest. You're going to mix those together and you're just going to add 1 1/2 cups of flour into the bowl at this point. In a little bit, we'll add the rest, but this is how we're going to start. Just going to add those ingredients in, and then we are going to get started on our wet ingredients, okay? And I'll list the entire recipe down below so you can see that as well and have it visually for y'all there. Alright, so next you're going to take a small saucepan and you're going to add a 1/2 cup of butter, a 1/2 cup of milk, it can be any type of milk you want, dairy or non-dairy, and then a 1/2 cup of water also, and you're going to let those cook a little bit until the butter is completely melted. And then once you have that, you're going to take it off the stove for a few minutes, just let it cool a little tiny bit for maybe 2 minutes. And then after that, we are going to get ready to add it into our dry ingredients. All right, so now you're going to take the butter and the milk and the water that you just cooked on the stove. After it's cooled, you're going to combine it with your dry ingredients and mix it up. And then you're going to also need 4 eggs, so you can add those in after you give it a good little mix. And then once you have your eggs in there, you can slowly begin to add the other 4 cups of flour because we already added 1 1/2. So we need to add the remaining 4. So just keep mixing and try your best to get all of that flour evenly incorporated into the mixture. Alright, once you have the dough, you can put some flour down on the countertop or whatever surface you're working on and begin to knead it and make it into the shape as best you can of a ball. And once you've done that, then you can grease another bowl so that you can put your dough inside of it to rise for about 1 1/2 hours. So you can just put a wet towel over top and let it sit. So once that's sat for 1 1/2 hours, you can take it out, make sure it's doubled in size, and knead it a little bit, and we're going to start dividing the dough into different portions. So you can divide it into 4 or 5 equal portions, and then from there you're going to divide those portions in half again. So then you should have 12 small loaves, and you're going to have a little bit of a remainder so that you can make the bones, which are what is featured on pan de muerto, as you will see. So while we cut up our bread and make our little rolls, I want to tell you a little bit about the history of pan de muerto. Pan de muerto o hojaldra, you can also call it hojaldra, is a very typical bread from Mexico, and it's actually 94% of Mexicans will eat this around the holiday of Dia de los Muertos. And it actually represents the circle of life. You can see that the bread will be a round circle, and then on top of it, there are going to be a little bit of decorations. There's going to be like an X over the middle that looks like bones, and then the little ball on the top is going to represent the skull. And so this is something that can be typically added to an ofrenda or an altar that someone makes for their family, hoping that their soul will come back to visit them and will remember the family. So the X, or the bones that we were talking about, are represented by the 4 cardinal points as well, each which is ruled by an Aztec god. So the 4 gods on those points are Quetzalcoatl, which is the god of light and wind; Totec, which is the god of death and rebirth; Tlaloc, which is the god of rain and storms; and Tezcatlipoca, which is the god of darkness and sorcery. And also, I hadn't added the sesame seeds, but pretty much every hojaldra that I saw in Puebla when we lived there had sesame seeds on it, so that's something you can add on at the end after we put our little glaze, which you will see us do. And yeah, pretty cool history, huh? What do you think? So once you have rolled out your X or your bones, and then you put a little circle on top for the skull, please place these beautiful hojaldras in your oven for 15 to 18 minutes at 350 degrees. So while those are cooking in the oven, you can make your simple glaze, which is just going to be 1/2 cup sugar and 1/3 cup of orange juice. You're just going to bring it to on a low heat, 2 to 3 minutes, and then while that bread is still warm, put a little bit of that glaze on top. And it is sticky, so at this point, if you want to add some sort of sugar, you can put any sugar on top, or even sesame seeds like we discussed before. And that's it. We hope you enjoy. We really liked the way it came out. The boys are eating it constantly, as you'll see in the next clip. But thanks for being here with us, and don't forget to try to celebrate this with your family this year. Aquí estamos disfrutando el pan de muerto. ¿Qué tal, Joaquín? ¿Te gustó? Nos gustó mucho. Espero que ustedes también. We hope you like it as well. Adiós.
Stay with friends.